6 tips. I think we're going to have a good time. I don't think that we're going to have a good time. I know we're going to have a good time because guess who is jacked in microdosing caffeine? The big guy. The big guy. So close. But this will be literally a slam dunk where we're going to go over 6 specific tips. Are we selling cowboy hats? Are we selling cowboy hats? We are not selling cowboy hats, but what we are doing is giving specific, not drop shipping, but selling it first and then buying it. Because I've gotten some great input, which will be parlayed into your first sale, specifically with eBay. Now, oh, Larry, eBay's so old. I don't know if eBay's the newest thing. You guys wanted to be a Jedi. And what does a Jedi fight with? He fights with a lightsaber. 2 Jedis can literally take over a planet. That's what this is, using this antiquated instrument along with eBay, along with another piece of antiquated turd, which is ta-da! Ta-da! Maybe you're having a hard time seeing it, but this will be the most amazing thing because we're literally going to step you towards your new destiny with a Braun power cord. 703-0458. You should be stressed in screenshotting this power cord. 703-0458. Am I buying it? No, I'm not buying it. What I'm doing is I'm helping you sell something first and then buy it. I love Jesus, and you're welcome. So, this isn't a class on drop shipping. It is not. It is a class on, oh my God, I'm going to become legendary by selling my first thing and then having the snowball rolling down the hill. Are we selling cowboy hats? You can. You can if you want, but I recommend that you sell it first and then buy it. Let's focus. Pen to paper. 703-0458. Screenshot. 703-0458. It's a Braun power cord number. That's a part number. Why is it sold for almost $100? Why? What? $100? Why do you have so many of them? Why do you have so many power cords? Because every time I see a Braun power cord, I giggle snort. Because some alpha male loves his Braun shaver but can't find a power cord. That's why you're going to sell them Braun power cord. 703-0458. It connects up to 89.75, 75.26. You're going to sell it for $100 by taking a screenshot of this Braun power cord, and then you're going to buy one by Googling 8975 shaver number. See, the problem is old people still can't Google very well. In fact, a young person under 30, all y'all aren't Googling very well either. Sorry, but let's take advantage of this, which is the first entrepreneurship thing where I'm going to show you how money works. And then I won't be collecting 30% of what you make because you yourself can just keep the money. You don't even have to send me a thank you. In fact, if you really want to thank me, thank a high school teacher or college professor of yours that you were kind of a cunt to. Okay? That would make me happy because I know that that would make, I'm going to cry a little bit because that teacher doesn't get paid shit, okay? And you're kind of a dick to them. That's why they're a cunt to you, right? And so now you're sending them a thank you. What are we doing? We're doing something inside of entrepreneurship that is counterintuitive. That's what 6 tips are. If entrepreneurship was intuitive, it would be easier to do, and unforced errors that we cause ourselves wouldn't be an issue. So, 703-0458. The reason I'm showing it with a different book cover is so that way you can take a screenshot of this, so that way you don't have to buy it first and then sell it. No. We're not going to buy something first and then sell it. We're going to sell it first and then buy it. Do you see why this is the most important piece of technology? Because if you don't write it down and kind of look at it once a day, you're going to do what everybody does, which is buy it and then sell it. That's the most normal thing. Enjoy bankruptcy. You can't go bankrupt if you're selling it first and then buying it. So, if you're also writing down 703-0458, I went ahead and wrote out a WordPress blog post on how to make $50 on eBay selling a Braun power cord for over $80 and then buying that Braun power cord for under $30. This is arbitrage. This is sell it first and then buy it. This is how life works with selling it with this is how the world works. It isn't go big or go home. I want questions in the feed. Let's go over quickly summarizing the things that we can write down or that are in my head, so that way they can go into your head. Because the tips that we're doing is an explosion of confidence, because you'll have sold and you'll have won your first win. This will be the first time that you sold something. What happens is it's a snowball. But instead of going into theory, let's get into specifics. So, Braun power cords plug into a German Braun shaver. These shavers are now made in another country, not Germany. They're not made very well, and so the old shavers became incredibly valuable. Problem is, these rich people travel, and then the Braun power cord burns out when they bring it to another country. And so now they have a perfect shaver that's like 30 years old, but they have no ability to charge. Can they Google the part number? 703-0458? No, they cannot. And that's where we come in, where we sell them a Braun power cord for their specific shaver. They only know their shaver. They don't know the intricacies of how Braun power cords are sometimes mismatched to their shaver. And do you see how this is our first experience doing customer service? This is the first time we've ever become a seasoned executive whisperer. Seasoned executive, old person. Whisperer is like a dog whisperer, horse whisperer, or a vagina whisperer. And so we are a seasoned executive whisperer doing customer service for the first time before the sale. So that way we win at entrepreneurship because we know the hidden secret of entrepreneurship, which is this power cord is incredibly valuable. This power cord with that clip, it's incredibly valuable. I think if you want to re-ask the question, okay. Yes, working in customer service does suck butt. This is the first time, if you haven't done customer service, we can be a salesperson because customer service does completely, it's horrendous, okay? The experience springboards us. Never having done it once does not help. And this is where we get paid to take the abuse of being in customer service. Because that's the key to entrepreneurship is talking to this is the 4 steps to the epiphany is people who end up going bankrupt, they end up not doing the tough job, which is talking to users and listening to feedback. This is Steve Blank's book. This is also chapter 65 of Warren Buffett's Snowball. So what we're doing with our first arbitrage is we are selling this Braun power cord with a WordPress blog post that I went ahead and wrote out the eBay description on. So the theory behind it is you sell it first and then buy it. But the thesis, the details get completely lost because it seems like, oh, you just sell this super expensive part to a rich person and then I load up the 5 pictures on eBay that are screenshots from Larry Chang's video. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about because we need a resourceful way to sell it first and then buy it. Are you paste copying me specifically? Yes. Why are we doing this? To build confidence where we go from theoretical entrepreneurship and watching a YouTube video going, this video sucked, or this video was okay, but when was the last time you put pen to paper watching a YouTube video, writing down Braun shaver number 8975? Because there's actually almost 100 more Braun German-made models that plug into this power cord. And so the rich people who own that German shaver, they can't find the exact part number for their exact shaver. And that's where the customer service comes in. Now, does this scale? Oh yeah, it completely scales because it turns out all of technology entrepreneurship, Steve Blank, okay, he's a friend. Why? Because I read his book. I didn't even go to Stanford University. Look at my bio. Look at my profile. I did not go to Stanford University. I went to the University of fucking Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And I had to read this book, and I paid $50 for a paperback. let's say the Braun power cord arbitrage isn't for you. Arbitrage is business speak for I sell things cheap. I sell things expensive. I sell things expensive that I bought cheap. Look at how many Steve Blank books I own. In fact, if you load this up on eBay, you'll probably be able to sell the Braun power cord for like $200 because people will be like, do you know Larry Chang? Stop. Oh my God. No sexts, okay? That's a real phone number. Why do I have this many Steve Blank books? Why? You should ask yourself that. Or instead of being gossipy about, oh, do you sell cowboy hats? We want to do that for our high school fundraiser. Knock yourself out. Hit it. Braun shaver number 8975. You then take those pictures of the Braun shaver and you sell it and you list it for over $90. When you sell one, you confirm with the buyer, hey, I want to confirm that this power cord will actually charge your German-made shaver. Can you again tell me the Braun shaver that you use? So we're profiting by doing customer service when we ourselves are going to become technology entrepreneurs. You don't plug the power cord into the book. Stop it. The book, why am I putting the book with the power cord? Because that way you get a screenshot. Kind of like a kidnapping where I need a photo of the kidnapper with the newspaper to prove the date. I want to prove to the rich person with the German shaver that I am in possession of a power cord. And when you put it in front of a book, he'll be like, oh my God, I read that book. I read that book in high school or college. And therefore, they trust you slightly more. What's hard about sales? No need and no trust, which is why the Braun power cord in front of those books is an avalanche of evidence because you've never sold one thing yet on eBay. Yes, yeehaw! Happy? Yes, 3 inches is definitely enough. Entrepreneurship is not for the weak. Hey, I'm happy that you're a fan. Plug the cord in the book, yeah. How many books? I think there's 5 books There's 5 books. Steve Blank, the book I showed you, is 4 Steps to the Epiphany. Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore. Eric Ries, Lean Startup. Mark McCormack, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. And then, did I say Alexander Ostrander, Business Model Generation? Did I say that one already? Cowboy hat. That was a prior question with, do you sell cowboy hats? No, but you should if you like the cowboy hats. And a high school student asked, and then now that high school student is going to use the cowboy hats, $50 on my buddy Jeff's website, Amazon. $50. You sell them for $300 as a cowboy themed fundraiser for your high school fundraiser. And then we linked together those sales experiences for fundraising for your high school into attending Stanford University in the summertime with Professor Rebecca Huang's entrepreneurship class. Put a pin in that one because that's something good to expand on. I want to hit some of these questions. Yeehaw! Are you happy? Oh my god, I'm only gonna do it one more time. You know what? I'll sing a country song. Yelling yeehaw is disconcerting. Seeing as how I'm not on my horse and my dog kind of gets scared. The show 911 with Ghost Whisperer Lady. Ghosts are real, and we should pray that ghosts find a peaceful destination. In fact, let's pray together right now as if we're doing a Young Life fundraiser. Father Lord, thank you for this time together, and thank you for us meeting up with new friends. Um, we pray that people who are in ghost form find a peaceful state to rest. And while we're praying about people that have passed, I want to be able to reach out and say to Augie Garrido, who is my mentor, that I hope that he finds this prayer in the middle of my live stream, mother scratching, hilarious. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. I think I nailed that prayer. I think I really aced that prayer. So yeah, that's the ghost thing. Did you read my message? I'm reading my message right now. Hello? Yes. Hello. Yes, I will answer you with honesty and honesty alone. Yes, we can keep the answer between me, you, and the three other people that are here in the room. Thank you for thinking that I'm handsome. No sexting, please. Let's keep it businessy related. I'm glad, I don't understand. I'm so glad that's the first thing I saw when I got here. Yeehaw. I think that's good, right? Let's move ahead with the high school fundraiser. This applies to any group where you're practicing earning money and you keep none of the money. Cheers. So, a fundraiser for a school group, a student group, whatever. Have it be a cowboy themed school event. And so now you have an excuse to sell $300 cowboy hats that you first sell and then you buy it on a website, Amazon. Then you have a cowboy theme. What you're doing here is you're practicing baby entrepreneurship. You're practicing a lemonade stand business. You're practicing a bake sale. Typically, these things are a lot of work, not a lot of money. What you're doing with a cowboy hat is you are trying to kill initially 2 or 3 birds with one stone. What snowball momentum is just like those 5 books. We're using books like we are a Jedi, which is why I have this many books. Because inside of entrepreneurship, there's a compression, because this guy took 20 years to write one good book, 4 Steps to the Epiphany. So if you could read that book in under a year, you get 20 years of knowledge inside of the 1 year it took for you to read it. For me, it would just take me 3 hours or an hour, because I speed read, because I have hacked reading fast, executing fast, and talking slowly, because this is not some curated, edited YouTube where all the clips are edited together and it's good for casual viewing on the backside of when you're multitasking. This is for when you are tired of crappy results prior and are like, I'm going to watch and rewatch Larry Chang videos because the structure of his content is 14 chapters of his mentor's book. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School. What they don't teach you at Harvard Business School. And so tell me a number. In the comments, type a number between 1 and 14. In the comments, type a number. 7. 7's perfect. 7 is the sex chapter. Bang less, get ahead. Which is why we're keeping this chat about work and business, and we're not throwing putty. No putty. I mean, yeah. Chapter 7. Bang less, get ahead. Type in a number 1 to 14. What? Now people don't have snarky comments? Seriously, pick a number 1 to 14. My God. Stop texting pictures. Type in a number 1. 11. Failing forward, which is the concept of this. Because you're going to make some mistake when you're loading up a page for eBay, and then I'll be like, yep, that's a little mistake. And then you'll march forward by failing forward because you'll be like, oh, I didn't know that I needed to load up 7 pictures. I just got shitty pictures off the internet. We don't use shitty pictures off the internet. We use genuine things that we tried our best to have high production quality. Look at this production quality. I'm literally bringing a dog, shitty lighting, and an iPhone, not my baller iPhone, my like clunker iPhone, and my college iPhone. What is the live stream about? I just found out. I was just scrolling through the YouTube. So, thank you. What a great question. This live stream's about baby entrepreneurship and 6 kind of life tips. And so we're playing entrepreneurship. I'm not going to convince you to be an entrepreneur. I'm not selling you some whack jack workshop, okay? I'm just encouraging you to sell your first and second thing. You don't just sell one. We don't want to go from 0 to 1. We want to go from 0 to 2 and then quit. And then let the snowball roll down the hill, because that's what happened to me because I read 2 books. Obviously, I'm a cowboy and this is my beast. And so this live stream is about basically entrepreneurship. Thank you for the compliments. Thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. And if we could focus on work and playing entrepreneurship, then we can maximize the time here, because the also goal of this live stream is for us to sell our first thing without having to talk to anybody, which is eBay. So when I say use our real name on eBay to sell our first thing, what is your reaction to that? What is your reaction to that? I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand what's going on here. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I like your cowboy hat. It makes you hecka, extra hecka sexy. Do you remember what chapter 7 was about? Chapter 7 was about focusing on work related topics and not transitioning it into sexy time talk. But thank you. Okay? But thank you. I appreciate that, I think. Uh, Across the street from Stanford University is Palo Alto High School. And so Spencer Shobin was like, hey, you're awesome. Will you come speak at my high school? So I'm like, yeah, cool. So I speak at high school, and this is when Twitter was first coming out. And so I'm like, yeah, everybody, this is my real Twitter handle, and this is my direct comment line. So I'm like, go ahead and text questions if you don't want to raise your hand. Girls were literally sending sexts. And yeah. Stranger danger. Stranger danger. I use my real name online. I don't mind using my real name on eBay. That's genius. Good job. Because when you do use your real name, just like you use your real name on LinkedIn, then you have a chance, because when you're trying to sell things, there's two things that go on: no need and no trust, and no inventory. But you don't need inventory because you're going to use my pictures. You're going to use these screenshots. You're going to use these screenshots under Braun Power Cord, part number 7030458. So instead of throwing compliments my way of sexy time comments, why don't we use that energy and put it towards selling your first thing on eBay? So you sell it first, and then you buy it, and then you use the pictures that I'm providing you, and you sell it, and you list it for more than $90. Oh, that's so expensive. Why don't they just buy it themselves? That's not how rich people are wired. There's a German shaver, and it's higher quality, and now they can't find replacement parts. It turns out that this counterintuitive truth runs everywhere in technology, where the executives of the company have a really hard time crossing over the innovation chasm. They literally have a hard time. And it's because old people are set in their ways. That's where seasoned executive whisperer comes from. Why do you think my profile says vagina whisperer? It's not because I want to be a pussy magnet. In fact, women throwing pussy at me kind of is distracting. It's not annoying because I take it as a compliment, because I'm sure in the future women aren't going to throw this much vagina. But what this does is it helps us all be seasoned executive whisperers, so that way we can slightly make more money, which is why the point of this video on Friday night, after me microdosing caffeine, is 6 ways for us to practice entrepreneurship, so that way we can just get on with our lives. 6 ways that we can sell 2 things and then, oh my God, have so much confidence from having sold 2 things that we can then apply sales skills as we finish being a student, as we finish whatever. And it's a skill that is massively useful. What is my cowboy hat? What does my hat look? This is what my head looks like. I love how the questions aren't, oh my God, the eBay thing is genius because blah 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 blah. It's, do you have hair underneath your cowboy hat? Okay, okay, question mark. Happy? What do you guys want to talk about next? What do you guys want to talk about next? So, in a snowball, because once you sell two, the world kind of opens up to you in a way where you've not really seen momentum. In fact, this happens so often that I call it this hilarious hashtag, engineer up a tidal wave of momentum, perpetual promotion machine. EUTWM PPM. What happens is, to you, if you get lucky, is what happened to me when I connected up two books. I playfully read two books, and I was like, if these two books were to come together, what kind of business would I have? And the two books that I bought used were The Ultimate Credit Handbook by Jerry Detweiler, and then Mark McCormack, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. My class, my engineering school was very difficult, and I realized that my GPA after going to the University of Illinois was too low. And so I'm like, I'm going to have to study business school, not attending because my grades are too low in engineering school. I was kind of angry, kind of had a chip on my shoulder. But then I took that book and I understood bankruptcy super well because that's what Duck 9 is you avoid bankruptcy. If you want to sell one more thing after you sell the Braun Power Cord, I would sell blank notebooks. I would sell blank notebooks for $50. What? $50? That's way too much money. That's way too much money for a notebook. Well, do you think your smartphone? My phone's not so smart. It's really just breaking my brain. That can go country too. I could sing it however you want to. The fact that that song is kind of like Andrew Mason singing about entrepreneurship as the founder of Groupon. Let's go Chicago. So, billionaire to billionaire, it's funny that he sings his entrepreneurship keynotes because he doesn't want to talk about this stuff, whereas I love talking about this stuff because I love the dollar that's most dramatic, which is the dollars in and around $0. $0 is the most dramatic, it's the most magical number in physics too, and aerospace engineering, blah blah blah. But that's why I'm so juiced on a Friday night to talk about your getting off of $0 and being no longer in debt. And so the $50 notebook, this is how you sell one. Is your phone killing your brain? How did you write down? We were in that chat room together for Larry Chang's talking about Braun Power Cord 703-0458. Did you take the notes in your phone or did you use pen and paper? What happens when you take notes via pen and paper is you literally become a Jedi, because when you pull out pen to paper, people will be like, hey, Larry, what was that Braun Power Cord number that you said again? I need to write it down. Do you see what happens when I do this? You immediately care because there's gravitas in my pulling out paper and pen. Gravitas like importance, like there's a weightiness to our conversation, is that you're talking and I'm writing. And what happens is you can obviously, maybe not obvious to you, but you can close deals when you put pen to paper. Larry, if I were to do those 6 things that you had outlined, would it be possible for you to introduce me to a venture capitalist? You just got a deal done. You just got a deal done. You literally got a deal done because you brought a notebook to the technology conference. Magical stuff. And so I took the two books, Jerry Detweiler and Mark McCormack, I took the two books and I DJ'd them together to form this company, Duck 9. What is Duck 9? It's a company that helps you get a FICO score above 750 before you turn 21 years old. You can start when you're 17 and a half years old, basically almost 18. And when you get to a high credit score, you duck and avoid the biggest expense you'll ever have in your life, which is interest. And we charge $600, and then now we open sourced how to do Duck 9 without having to pay Larry Chang $600. Counterintuitively, when I open sourced Duck 9's protocols, did I make more money or did I lose money? What do you think happened? Because instead of asking you, hey, do you want to pay me $600 and your credit score, I guarantee, will be over $750 or 750 FICO, right? Counterintuitively, the revenue actually went up when we gave away our secret sauce. Which is why my mentor, Mark McCormack, has a presentation called How to Do What Mark McCormack Does Without Having to Hire Mark McCormack. Oh, right on cue is the Mark McCormack reverse rebate model for the $50. What? You want me to spend $50 for a notebook? How much did that thing cost you? The most important lesson is this lesson that I'm going to tell you, and I will share it with you for free because my mentor gave it to me. Being able to parse and separate money in, which is revenue, with money out, which is expense. I can't tell you how many people go bankrupt because they're spending money before they make it. That's what salespeople do that are really, really, really good at sales. They'll end up just being encouraged to spend more money because I'll just be more motivated to make money. What kind of white and black person logic is that? No, 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 no. You separate, you want to live a stress-free life, you separate the money in from the money out. Back to the Mark McCormack reverse rebate model, which is, yeah, it's $50, but guess what? I know it's super expensive, but if you take 2 pages of notes and then text me that you took 2 pages of notes or post to social media, hey, I'm using my notebook to go through a digital detox. Hey, I'm using a paper notebook to do a dopamine fast or a chemical brain health movement, or I'm using my notebook to journal for mental health. I'm on day 2 of my journal. You don't have to say, oh, this $50 notebook's the best notebook ever. Just, I've journaled 2 pages on my mini journal that is my pocket journal. All $50 back. But then, oh wait, how do you make money? This is how, and it's so counterintuitive. Let's sell Steve Blank's book for $80 and then buy it for $30. This is why I have so many of these books. This is why I have so many of these books. Because You don't need to write a book to sell a book. You can just sell Steve Blank's book. $80. How much does it cost you to buy one used? 30, 20, or 10. It doesn't matter because you're selling it for 80. If you buy his book from me, from you, from me to you, buy it for 80 bucks. If you read 2 chapters, Mr. CEO or Mr. I have $80, if you read 2 chapters and then do a social media post on what you learned in chapter 1, I will give you 40 bucks of the $80. This is the Mark McCormack reverse rebate model right out of chapter 6. If you read chapter 2, I'll give you another $40 back. So long as you report and we book club together, what value did you get from chapter 2? You don't have to read all 9 chapters. You just need to read 2 chapters, and as your study buddy, I will give you back that 80 bucks. Well, then how do you benefit? Well, how I benefit is I'll have sold one of Steve Blank's books, and you'll prove it to the world because you posted it on your social media. Am I buying something for $15,000? Am I buying a $15,000 bill for $30? Yes. Let me repeat that. I just bought a dollar amount over $10,000 for $30. Let me repeat it a third time. I just bought a at least $5,000 bill because the first 2 chapters of this, gold, solid gold, especially if the executive has heard for the 9th time, oh yeah, 4 Steps to the Epiphany. It's actually already on my shelf and I really should read it. Or, yeah, I've met him a couple times and I still haven't read his book. Perfect. Perfect. Give me 80 bucks now, Mother Scratcher. What? That's why having 4 books makes you look like a psycho. I have 2 of these, okay? Do you want to buy one? Well, I'll buy it myself on Amazon. No. And plus, if you buy it on Amazon, it might be sold out. You'll be like, oh, one day I'll buy it on Amazon and one day I'll read it. No. Pay me 80 bucks and hard sell the free. Hard sell it. What have you done? You've now sold your 3rd thing, and now we are real world friends, and now Steve Blank realizes that you're actually going to not only sell his book, what is your likelihood of reading that book? It's incredibly high, right? It's incredibly high. And how are you going to read? With gusto, enthusiasm, and energy. Cool, right? What do you guys want to talk about now? We can talk about anything. Ask me anything. Ask me anything. What do you guys want to talk about? When was the last time you guys not read a book and took notes? When was the last time you watched a video and then rewatched a video and then took notes on that video and then got the person who produced that video to collaborate on a future video? Steve Blank, 4 Steps to the Epiphany. I actually wrote a sequel book to his book. But before I wrote a sequel book to his book called The 5th Epiphany, I wrote it in a book report Am I going to write a book that you're also, again, going to not read? No, okay? No, why would I do that? But I will do a book summary of a book that you might read. You remember those 5 books? Eric Ries's Lean Startup, Alexander Ostrander, Business Model Generation, Mark McCormick, What They Don't Teach at Harvard Business School, Jeffrey Moore, Cross the Chasm, and Alexander Ostrander's book, Business Model Generation. Those 5 books together form the basis for no company ever in the future needs go bankrupt. How cool is that? I know. I'm pretty proud of myself because I pre-published my PhD thesis in business at my safety school, Harvard. Inside their business school, if you just type in Larry Chang, Mr. Peabody, or Mr. Peabody, Fifth Epiphany, I took the time to incorporate humor into my PhD thesis on avoiding financial death. Get it? Duck 9. Avoiding Chapter 9. Avoiding death. You don't need to go bankrupt. You don't need to have negative value. You don't need to be in financial difficulty. There's a book that would help you. And in this case, it's a video that helps you. Do you see why 6 tips for entrepreneurship is your flagship video that is your launching point for, hey, I was thinking about doing this. What should be the first step? First step is to successfully sell 2 things. 1, Braun Power Cord, hashtag CS183 BPBC 7030458. Number 2, sell a $50 notebook to one of your friends, and then now you and your friends are taking paper notes. And then number 3 thing you sell is a used Steve Blank book. How did I meet Steve Blank? What a great question. Because I did not go to Stanford. I went to the University of Illinois. Tom Brady, the human, went to the University of Illinois in Michigan, or the version of Illinois, Michigan, in Ann Arbor. There's a dinner that Dave McClure was hosting. There's a dinner, and it was like $80. Dinner, and then meet an author. Guess who the author was? Steve Blank. Did I have $80 for a ticket? Yeah, but guess what? The dinner was sold out. So I'm like, I'm gonna show up to the Garden Court Hotel, 520 Cowper. I own a cool building right around the corner from there. 520 Cowper, Garden Court Hotel. Super close to Nobu, co-founder. So, I did not have a ticket for the dinner. Tickets are sold out. So, I ended up going and waitlisting and showing up 15 minutes early, and I had exactly 4 $20 bills, exact change, so that way if I were to clear the wait list, I would have exact change. So I was like, Dave, Mr. McClure, venture capitalist Dave McClure, I don't have money or I do have money, but I don't have a ticket. So if somebody is a no-show, can I buy a ticket if somebody is a no-show? That's called learning to love the wait list. Is that chapter 11 of Mark McCormick's book? Yeah. Guess who shows up 10, 15 minutes early? The author, Steve Blank. And I know that he's the author because he has his picture on... He has his picture. There's a picture of him. So when he showed up, I was like, oh, Hi, Professor Blank. I'm Larry Chang, and I don't have a ticket yet for this party. So, would you mind signing my book in case I can't stay?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. Uh, I could sign your book." Page one that he opens up to, filled with my notes: customer development, customer life cycle, uh, uh, the customer uh, the customer development cycle in the whole Steve Blank avoiding startup death spiral, bit.ly s blank 710. So I memorized these things, but page one, page two, full of notes. He opens and he can't find a space to sign because my notes on his book have filled up the initial pages, which is why he looks at me, looks at the looks at my notes, looks at me, looks at my notes, looks at me, and is like, "What was your name again?" I'm like, "Larry. I'm Larry Chang." He goes, "I think I know you. Don't you go out every night to party?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I also read once in a while." He's like, "Yeah, obviously." And so he signs it very nicely, very legibly. And he goes, "You know, I have a table here and I'm not sure if it's going to be full. So if you don't have a ticket, you're more than welcome to join me on my table." Did I go from Crasher to VIP right out of the book of Mark McCormack, Guacamole, recipe number 4, Crasher to VIP? Yes. Do you see why I happily sling and sell this book for $175? Why? Because I'll give you back 90, 85 bucks if you read one or two of the chapters. Happily. Happily. Don't sell his book for $175 because I don't want you surpassing me in being more awesome than me. Or go ahead and surpass me. That's the whole point of this video, is for you to surpass me. And I love having you have to go to freaking Instagram to like go get the best video content. Is you have to go, you got to go to Instagram. I love that. I love that because when you go to Instagram, it's like opening up a box of putty and it's just hitting you in the face. What chapter is that? Chapter 7. Focus about banging less and getting ahead. How Young Life Jesus friendly is this Young Life seminar where I'm telling you to spend less time thinking about dating and more time thinking about blessings, which is what this video is blessings. And how are we able to focus? Crasher to VIP. I then didn't just say, "Oh, I just saved 80 bucks by crashing this event." I walked right over to Dave McClure and I was like, "Hey Dave, Mr. McClure, Mr. Venture Capitalist, Steve Blank has room at his table and he invited me. Would you mind if I give you the 80 bucks because I think I just cleared the wait list?" Dave McClure looks at me and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" I'm like, "I'm Larry Chang. It's nice to meet you for the 5th time." He's like one of those guys that would always have, like, look at me. I'm ginormous. I wear a cowboy hat and you can't remember me? Like, are you actively trying to forget me? That's okay. So I handed him the 80 bucks and his jaw was like on the ground. He's like, "Oh my god. I can't believe I can't believe how street smart you are." That's how I met Steve Blank, and that's why we can promote his book while we're in a book club. Okay, So we've talked about the Braun power cord, 7030458. We've talked about the power cord. We talked about selling a notebook for $50 that you then give them back $25 and $25 after they post on social media. We also talked about selling Steve Blank's book for $80 that we, after we sell one for $80, we go buy one for $30, $20, or $10. What we can go over now is how the reverse rebate model is, it's a magical thing that in theory is so easy, and it's so much easier to not do it, because that's what tipping and getting to 2 are and is getting us off of 0 things sold, where we're trying to collect money from strangers. Not that I'm collecting money from you guys. I'm saying you guys can sell your first thing. And because it's funny, go to Amazon and buy a stack of blank notebooks and then email me or sell me one of the notebooks for $50, and then walk me through how you're going to rebate me $25 and $25 under the Mark McCormack, Larry Chang reverse rebate model. Hashtag LCRRM. Six tips for entrepreneurship and not needing money to make money. So there's a set of books that coincide with a $5,000 workshop. Relax. I'm not selling you this workshop. I'm showing you how to get in free to these workshops. Joe Dispenza, he charges thousands of dollars. This is how to win at any event that charges you expensive, super expensive. Everyone thinks that there's magical things taught in these workshops. None of it's magical. I mean, it is magical. But you can reverse engineer the entire workshop by looking at the pre-published content on social media, on videos, inside of books. So there's this guy, his name is Joe Dispenza, and women love talking about Joe Dispenza stuff. Love it. They all want to go, women all want to go to a Joe Dispenza workshop. There are 3 books that Joe Dispenza wrote: Evolve Your Brain, Breaking the Habit of Being You, Becoming Supernatural. You take these books and you can reverse engineer what he's going to give content-wise in a 4-day workshop. This works every time, 99% of the time. Let's take another person who hosts super expensive workshops, Tony Robbins. he charges thousands of dollars. So the first time I was pressured into spending 900 bucks for a workshop, I went ahead and bought his book for 10 bucks, like paperback. After I read Unlimited Power, I benefited from chapter 4, pain pleasure juxtaposition, neural linguistic programming, to the point where spending $1,000 at the workshop was a slam dunk because I already improved and got the benefit of going to the workshop before the workshop took place. That's how we want to be wherever we're going. Did I do the same thing again for Irv Grosbeck's class, Strategic Management 353? Yes. This class sits behind a paywall, a wall that keeps you out unless you pay. $275K. No joke. That's how much Stanford GSB costs. I got in for $2 because I bought Irv Grosbeck's book for $2 used on my buddy Jeff's website. Free shipping too at Amazon. Like, best deal ever. I emailed Irv Grosbeck. I was like, hey, lecture 11, chapter 17, it's not quite the best. Would it be possible for me to visit class and learn directly from you? Would that be possible? Heck yeah, come on in. Cool. That's how he invited me, just because I asked. Because I read his textbook before going to listen to him talk and speak out of his textbook. And that's how to get return on investment for anything prior to school, prior to real world school, real world tuition. And so that's how we get a chance to win. And that way we don't feel pressure in having to spend money and then hope that that money comes back. Have you guys seen my Instagram where I talk about this person who went to ASU, Shelby Sapp? She has Hot Girl Sales Club. And so, what up? So she has Hot Girl Sales Club. Yes, going out later. Yes, going out later. Going out soon. It is Friday night. Hot Girl Sales Club, Shelby Haas. I want to say 7 days ago, I'm like, I bet she charges $3,000 for her workshop. So what did I do to sell her $3,000 workshop? I guesstimated what she was going to write in a sales book if she were to write a book on Hot Girl Sales Club. What did I call it? I call it the unofficial Hot Girl Sales Club Bible. Because I like to just throw in my mentor, Jesus Christ, because I am hilarious. So it's unofficial Hot Girl Sales Club Bible. This way, you sell one thing on eBay, the Braun Power Cord, 703-458. Then you sell one notebook. And then you sell a Stephen Blank book for 80 bucks. And then you sell enough stuff where you make $2,997. And then that's how you walk into Hot Girl Sales Club, is as a VVIP, in the same way that I made such a giant impact with Steve Blank. So this is how the world works for when you don't blame tall Caucasian white dudes as part of the patriarchy, because this is what's required of winning. Is, oh my god, no wonder that Caucasian guy Larry Chang was so successful. Look at what he did. Look at his prep. Look at his level of professionalism. So when people are talking, athletes are talking about levels of professionalism, they're really saying, look at how much of a psychopath he is on Saturdays. Because as Shelby Haas talks about, Shelby Sap has, Haas Sap Haas. One of those hyphenated names, because why would you not? I'm thinking about hyphenating my name. I'm thinking about being Larry Chang Bangs, or Larry Bang Chang, or Larry Chang Bangs, or Larry Legend, or just maybe just Larry Chang. And so that's what is required for us to step towards a new destiny. Is this chapter 15 of a Joe Dispenza book? It is, because I wrote it. Because that's chapter 15, stepping towards a new destiny, because he stops just short via chapters 9 through 14, stepping towards a new destiny. He doesn't actually lay out, where's my springboard? Oh, springboard? Interesting, because that's chapter 65 of Warren Buffett's book, Snowball, is chapter 65, Springboard. And do you see how we're DJing together chapter 65 with chapter 15 in talking about stepping towards a new destiny, and how we can collaborate after a book club? How does old book club work? There's 10 to 15 people. Half the people don't read the book. Half the people don't read the book. That's the old, what up? That's the old way that a book club would run. How does a book club work now, Larry? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Thank you for thinking that I'm a karate kicking martial arts expert. Okay, I do think that hip and shoulder separation is useful. Why don't we, temporarily lost my train of thought, now it's back. Do you like how organized I am? Book club. The new way to do book club, which is me, you, and the author in a, dare I say, 3-way? 5-way. Because it's me, you, the author, and then I'm going to sell 2 people to pay to join book club. Am I a guy who does book club in a nightclub? Oh, yeah. That's me, and that's how scandalously fun I am. Is, yeah, I go out every night. Yeah, I'm alcohol free. Yeah, I'm doing this drug free and sober, yet having a grand old time, because chapter 13, Joe Dispenza, the pineal gland. Being able to gin out the chemical that we need at the moment that we need it. Book club. So let's go over the 5-way, or initially the 3-way. And then I'll even talk about something that will probably make you guys way too happy, which is a 3-way. A 3-way. A real live 3-way. 2 girls and me in a 3-way. Let's go over 5-way book club first. This is the Young Life scandalous version of 3-way, by the way. So don't be pooping a brick, or I'm going to text your mom and dad because you're going to, be off the path. Spittles, okay? Tom Chang has heard much worse. 5-way book club. This is how it works. You find a book that you own right now that you have not yet read, and then we study buddy that book. We don't have to go into a new book that you don't own yet, or a book that you are buying but haven't. I don't want you to buy another book that you don't read. I don't want that. You don't have to do that. Book club. We study buddy, you and me. You reach out over a direct message or a text message, 650-283-8008. We study buddy the book, and then we incorporate the author to extrapolate what next book they will write. This is Stepping Towards Your New Destiny, Joe Dispenza. This is Snowball chapter 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. Because the book right now only goes chapters 1 through 64. Alice's book, Snowball, ditto Joe Dispenza's book, chapters 1 through 14. Chapter 15 is, what was it again? Stepping Towards Your New Destiny. Or, if you want, we can just study buddy Joe Dispenza's book. So, what is going on there is we can now book club into a real world three-way with book roulette. What is book roulette? It is the most scandalously awesome book club. This is how it works. 2 girls, 1 guy. Have you heard of 2 girls, 1 cup? Ew, okay? That's gross. What we're doing is 2 girls, 1 you, and 1 book. We take turns reading the book. We share 1 book. 2 girls, me, and a book. And we take turns reading for 3 minutes. And you read the book for 3 minutes, and then you pass it to our friend. She reads for 3 minutes, and then I read for 3 minutes. You can't touch your phone. Is this the best dopamine detox ever? Yeah, because it ends up being magical, because now we're reading with accountability. We're reading while also being able to win at attention deficit. And the chemicals issued out of our pineal gland, chapter 12, explode. And chapter 8, our mind movie, you can actually picture what's going on right now, and you don't even need to be there. Is that also Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics? Is it also chapter 8, Joe Dispenza, mind movie? Is it time as a flat circle? 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. That sounds like it's right out of chapter 11. So do you see how we're using a book, a Joe Dispenza book, to knowledge activate 3 chapters inside of his book, along with chapter 11 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Sexual Energy Transmutation, where Instagram is a tidal wave of putty thrown at us. And we don't need to just dodge the putty. We can just take that vagina energy and transfer it right into reading comprehension energy. Are you now better able to manage your hemispheres? Yes. Is this 2 brain hemispheres syncing? No. In a 3-way, it's 6 brain hemispheres syncing. Hemisphere syncing is where your left brain and your right brain meditate perfectly into the orgasm of money that I'm coming and climaxing, where I'm using Instagram's sexual dating app functionality and talking about 3-ways right into the 3-way of you finally speed reading, because you haven't read 15 pages in 3 minutes ever. And that's what happens when your brain becomes wired, because you take all that horniness, 2 girls and me, and you take that horny energy and you put it right into reading. And the other 2 people encourage that person to read faster, comprehend more. Is this stepping towards is this moonwalking with Einstein? Yes. We should study by that book, because now we can memorize and learn anything super fast. I'm really happy that we got to spend time together. Yes, I will put my cowboy hat back on. Yes, we are going out.